just like forgot what we were going to talk about.
Well, we did another pregame, like, because I wanted to get some of the toxicity out. I wanted to get some of the toxicity out before we hit roll. This is gonna look really weird. I'm gonna lay down because it's just easier to make
That's
we
fine.
wanted to get some of the toxicity out, and we did. So I'm kind of like exhausted in a way, but I want to talk about actual dogs.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so we're gonna keep it about dogs because there's cool things going on. You had some interesting topics, and I've always got
Yep.
weird shit happening. So how do you want to
Yep.
start?
Yeah, I think let's talk about your new board and train because I'm sure people are curious about him.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then we can talk about, yeah, like difficult dogs that are just trying to play.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, let's start with Breeze and then
Yeah.
go to what we were just talking about
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we started
So
recording. Yeah.
today's the third day with my aggression vehicle reactivity client dog from Indianapolis, and they first contacted me like 6 months ago, so it's been kind of a long time coming. Though that has sort of turned into like the wait list for me, which is fucking crazy to me. It's usually like months and months out. Um, but he's a cattle dog mix, of course. Just this morning, actually, I called my buddy Olivia to come over and record an hour of our morning, like our walk and all that type of thing, because this kind of it connects greatly to the conversation we had about workshops and how it's kind of an unworkshoppable topic because like getting this dog out of his crate is like a thing. Um, and like I just recorded an hour of just like here's me shilling the Patreon. Shouts out. But it's just like it's 55 minutes of negotiating getting this angry little twerp out of his crate. And then taking him outside, trying to get him to feel like any enjoyment while starting to get him to interact with me a little bit, like a little bit of cooperation, and then going back inside only to have him dive back in his crate, spin around and um but it's yeah, the third day, and the reason why I wanted to record that is because I could see how it would be maybe not frustrating or annoying, but we love to show training where it's like we're 3 weeks in, the dog's off leash and we're fucking throwing bombs and playing,
Hmm.
like doing all that shit. It's like, but realistically, a lot of the important part of the process happens when the dog is like actually just at his worst, right? And it's not he's biting me and he's pissed and he's afraid and he's anxious and he's not paying attention and then he is and then he's fucking and like it's good. Like I want to show more of that gritty raw material. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to give the idea that the dogs come here and just oh, and they just some of them change extremely fast. I would say all of them, relative to what most programs would be like with these dogs, they do change very fast. But each dog is different, right? So, um, like Breeze didn't look at me in any significant acknowledgement type way for like 24 hours, right? He was looking at me just because he was paranoid I was going to do something to him, or he was planning to do something to me. So it's like even getting him to be like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" took time, and it just can't. It's like when I was talking on camera this morning, I was like, I don't like. I'm always trying to get better at like everything that I do, but I don't know that there's a high skill ceiling for this part of the process. I genuinely think it's just not fucking up. Like trying to arrange the environment, like thinking about what's the goal for this stage of the training. It's like I want the dog to feel safe, and the reason for me wanting him to feel safe is I want him to start to explore the option of interacting with me. Like acknowledging me as like a living thing. You know what I mean? It's like a being,
Yeah.
and you get
Although I
there
will
through
say
safety.
creating safety is it's way harder than yeah, there you can fuck that up a lot of
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. Well,
Even with
so there's
really
some
good
interesting.
intention. But yeah.
I'll give you some sneak peeks. Like you'll think this is interesting. Um, I'll give you some sneak peeks to the Patreon. I'm just plugging the Patreon here. I'm trying to get people on the hook. Give me your $7 a month, bitch. Give me your money, pay piggies. Nah. I actually like never talk about the Patreon. It is amazing, but yeah, whatever. Um, the Patreon actually allows me to do all these like project dogs and stuff because I make it's really fucking cool. Like I seriously, the gratitude is just endless. So a cool thing with Breeze that I definitely would have done wrong before. So this candy ass is in the back of his crate, just like, I don't want to come out. It's like, okay. I put the water bowl on the other side of the room, away from me. So I'm not between him and the water bowl, right? So he's just like right there, and there's no impediment to it. He could just get up and do it. And you can actually, in the video, you see him look at me, look down, look at the water bowl, look at me. And I turned to my friend at the camera. I was like, he's weighing the options right now. He's really thirsty. He's like, dude, I kind of want to get a drink. And I called it. I was like, he's gonna go get a drink. And I wish he did right there because I would have looked like a god. He waited another like 30 seconds. He waited another like 30
Yeah.
seconds. I refilled the water, put it down, and he went and got a drink. But like the positioning there is really important to where it would be easy to forget in the moment that I'm standing between him and the water bowl, or even like next to it. You know what I mean? And you're applying pressure by doing that.
It's too much at that moment. Yeah.
Right. You're
Yeah.
applying pressure. And in this scenario where you're talking about the safety and the trust, if you are accidentally applying pressure, you're shutting off options. And you're forcing the dog to stay in this really rigid decision point. Like, I have to wait for him to move and I'll sneak out and run back in. It's like, no, I want to create the most low key,
Yes. No
free.
urgency, no
Right,
panic. Yeah.
right, right. Unfortunately, because like I know you have to take a piss, like I have to make you get out. So we have to do that a few times a day. But I can even go into like how I facilitate that. But
Yeah. Because I was gonna say even that you can get around a little bit.
a little
Yeah.
bit. But
Yeah.
he'll come out if I throw treats. Now, what I would have been tempted to do in the past, I do a throw, he comes out. I do a throw, he comes out. I do a further throw, he comes out. I do a further throw. He stops halfway, thinks about it, then goes to get the long throw. Then I do a further throw, and he goes out, and I stand up and I close the crate door. That would
Mhm.
be something
Yep.
where I would
Now
have
you're
been like,
tricking him.
I would
Yep.
have been like, yeah, like, oh look, now I got him outside. It's like, okay, that rep, we got him outside, but what was the cost? Now, when he sees me throw food, he has to second
It's the
guess.
trap. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
I've created doubt now, and
Yes.
now I have cast a shadow over all of my attempts at reaching out.
I think that's actually a really big one is the whole like, hey, it might look good on this repetition, but
Uh huh.
just because you accomplished your goal in this moment
Yep.
doesn't mean that you got like you won the battle but not the war. You know what I mean? And that it's really
Yep.
hard to have some self-discipline on sometimes, for sure.
You don't like So even when I get him outside, I leave the door open for like 10 seconds. If you want to bolt back in, you can. I'll let you. And then in a minute, I'm gonna be like, "Come on, we gotta go." But I want you to know that this isn't like a death march, and I'm not playing games. Like I'm not trying to take your eye off the ball and then steal it. You know what I mean? Um, that is so fucking crucial with these dogs that just have zero trust. Um, zero. He's another one of these cases where the owner certainly doesn't understand him. Cattle dogs, I feel like, are easy, especially first time cattle dog owners, or they're easy to misunderstand. They don't understand how weak his sense of self is. And they think he's just kind of like a miserable stick in the mud dog. But here's a really good canary in the coal mine type deal. Supposedly with the owner, and I've got some videos I have to watch. Supposedly with the owner inside of the house, he will play tug extremely hard. But as soon as you take one step out of the door, it disappears. So the owner is selling it like, oh, he just gets like, he's interested in others. It's like, well, or being out in the world makes him shut off the sections of his personality that let him
Yep.
allow him to put his
It takes
guard
him out
down
of
to play.
safety. He's
Right,
so
safety. Yes.
overwhelmed and in a fear state that
Yes.
play is incompatible with that completely.
Right. So
Yeah.
whatever incompatible emotions are getting triggered, they are stopping play, which is a signal that something is wrong with how he feels about himself when he's out in the world. And that can have serious systematic damaging effects. Um, like certainly connected to his aggression. Um, I think that the only thing that's been able to get through is the package delivery vehicle excitement. So that is where all of his wrath, all of his repressed drive, all of his just like, fuck everyone, I'm going to be a dog for a minute. It's all condensed into this one thing, right? And that's why the intensity is so fucking insane, because he basically just has nothing else. So it's all bottled up for the moment that the Amazon guy comes, and then it's on, you know. So that's going to be a really cool one to try to address. Yeah, it's interesting. Really tough, like tough. These dogs are tough to. He's kind of like that fat cattle dog Charlie, but I would say the difficulty cut in half, which is to say he's pretty difficult. Because Charlie was like mind numbing. But this dog's pretty hard, and you know, it's an ongoing evaluation. He could show me things where I'm like, Jesus Christ. But right now, he strikes me less as some like crazy, dangerous maniac, and more of just like a sad excuse for a dog that needs to learn how to feel good about himself.
Yeah. Like
Um,
the ceiling is probably higher than on Charlie.
mhm.
Like I think Charlie, like realistically,
Yeah,
his personal limitations were a little bit lower than
yeah,
the average dog, if you will. Whereas like it sounds like with Breeze, he's kind of just like the kid who's just misunderstood and
right.
needs a coach to take him under his wing and then he flourishes,
Now
you know.
here's what's interesting. I mean, I think there's a lot of interesting things about dog behavior, but there are seemingly incompatible behavioral traits that can coexist. It is actually possible for a dog to be a weak bully.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and
This
well, I would say that's typical.
this
Or
dog is
that's
a
most dogs that are
right.
aggressive. Yeah.
This dog is
Yeah.
a weak bully. Like he's an asshole, dude. And he doesn't feel good about himself. Like it's not coming from a place of like
But people get real mixed up in
right,
I mean, it's the whole like, oh, my dog's protecting me. And it's like,
right,
no, actually, your dog
right.
is feeling really insecure right now. Like very pointy-eared dog, typical narrative is like someone has a weak dog and they're like, oh, look, he's super aggressive and forward. And it's like
Hmm.
actually
Right. Well, to give
yeah.
the
Like
to
that's
give
such an archetype. Yeah.
no, it is, but to give another archetype, like kind of from the other angle, it's like, well, this dog's attacking people, whatever. Clearly, he needs to be taught a lesson. It's like, okay, I get it, but what if I told you that this dog that's biting me, actually, I need to help him feel better about himself and his life. That is what this dog desperately needs. And I'm sure at some point, like we've talked about this so many times, like at some point we're gonna have that conversation. Um,
But first, I need to give you the perspective shift that there is a
yeah,
possibility to be and feel different
yeah.
in
I
that
want you to
situation.
wake up. I want you to wake up and be like, I wonder if good things are gonna happen today. So that then when you violate the good thing that we have going, and we've already established that I'm someone to take seriously, be like, yo, man, hi, Fairfair. Be like, yo, man, that is just cute as fuck. It's
I
disgusting.
know, look at it.
Mascot, shout out. Um,
Yeah.
but I can get on him and be like, yeah, I mean, that's just off limits. And we've talked about that before about like trying to create disparity between the situation and the dog's behavior to where the behavior looks like a serious outlier. Right now, him going off on someone makes sense because he's a miserable little twerp that just doesn't have fun. So we gotta get him to be like, yeah, dude, I'm a fucking cattle dog, dude. I'm proud of that. I'm gonna chase stuff. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna bark. I'm gonna do all these things. And then that is the dog I want to interact with in that way. You know what I mean? The payoff is just unbelievable. So, it could be a slightly different conversation if he were like a 110-pound Cane Corso, and it's like, I can't, like, I physically can't let you continue doing this to me. But also he hasn't like lit me up. He's like nipped me. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say it
th-
doesn't sound like he's
no,
that
I posted a little
dangerous.
clip this morning on my Facebook again to show the Patreon, like the full video's coming later. And it's literally just us running in the snow. But he like nips me on the hand a little bit, but it's like when I go to grab his leash. Um, but it's just, it continues to be um astonishing that I will be accused of provoking the dogs on purpose and then smashing them. Like, the presence of bite gear necessitates you being a bully and a thug, which is sort of people telling on themselves because that's what they imagine they would be doing. You're telling on yourselves, guys, like, I'm paying attention, like, that's a little scary. But no, it's like he nips me and I literally go like, dude, why?
Yeah, the bite suit is an attempt to be as unintrusive as possible
Yeah. Yeah,
and not to have to smack him. Yeah.
there was a really good comment. It was like, and yeah, unfortunately, it has to do with people saying that good dog training is bad and all the typical stuff. But someone was like, yeah, I mean, the dogs clearly, they're just keyed on the bite suit, and he's making them be aggressive by wearing the bite suit. And someone just commented, they were like, why? So you're saying if he took the bite suit off, but if he was fat, that should hypothetically generate, like, just a fat guy being around should generate the same effect, right? And of course, no one has any response to that. That was a great comment.
Yep.
Whoever that was, if you're a listener, that was a fucking hilarious comment. But it's true. It's like the perfect
Yeah.
type of response because it's funny, but it's funny, factual, and makes them look as dumb as they actually are. That's like my favorite. My favorite. So with Breeze though, I'm not wearing the suit. Like, it'd be total overkill. Unless he makes me pay for it, which I don't think he will. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a slow crawl. I yesterday I had the house to myself for a little bit, and I opened his crate. I'm like, oh, I'll bring him upstairs for the first time. He can hang out in the living room, and he just would not fucking leave his crate. So it's like, okay, I leave the crate door open. I make sure the area is totally secure. And I spent time going upstairs, coming back down, checking on him, and making sure he knew that if you wanted, you could move, you know. And I'm not going to make you. It's not like we have to go train or you have to go potty. It's just I'm telling you, you have the option to. My Bluetooth might fuck up, but I'll fix it. Um, so it's going to be. I can tell this dog's going to be a slow process. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Um, yeah, what you messaged me this morning. Do you want to jump into talking about that?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the
So, well, the topic is definitely near and dear to us, but the topic is like really cool but big and imposing dogs overwhelming people. And I think it's a really, really important topic. And this is not meant to be a shaming. It's like, truly, I'm not trying to denigrate anybody. It's just there are some skill checks that happen in dog training. Okay, so let me give a little perspective. Some setup. So a friend of mine from the beginning of sort of like my shelter days got really disillusioned with the force-free ideological capture and what these people were doing to the dogs, killing dogs, wholesale slaughter, holocaustic, just brutal, right? Like thinking canine stuff where you're setting the dog up to do a quote unquote bad thing and then killing him with no recourse, whatever. So she got totally disillusioned with that, started her own small scale rescue organization, and she hasn't. I don't think she's been in operation for long, but um, finally I got a message from her. I think she's just been running her own thing, doing well. Finally, she's got a dog. She's just like, dude, I don't like. I think I need you for this one. And I'm sort of expecting like, oh shit, is this going to be like dangerous? Like, am I like, do I have the capacity right now? Because I have so much fucking shit going on. Do I have the capacity right now to take on like a freak show? And then she sends me these clips. I sent them to Kimberly, and it's just this big idiot,
Yeah. Yeah.
just a big idiot, dude.
He looks like a giant puppy. Like he's acting like a
Giant
giant
puppy,
puppy.
right? And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the owner's house is getting repossessed or something. Like she's getting evicted. She's got like 30 fucking like some crazy things. She got a bunch of dogs. And this is the one that she's having a hard time finding a place for because he's just a big fucking idiot, right? But you see in the clip that the girl's got the dog and he's just totally like dominating.
Yes.
And
Yes.
all
Yeah.
he's doing is chuckle fucking around. Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh.
Yep.
You know,
Zero ill intent. Yep.
biting
He's
the
like, oh, your
glove,
glove looks
biting the
like a fun
leash,
toy.
right?
Yep.
Punching,
Yep.
chest punching with the paw, wrapping the leash around, and it's
Yep. Just
just
having a great
total,
wrestling match.
right?
Yep.
And it's just total like when you see that type of thing, it's like I don't know about this. You can just kind of tell when someone is getting. Or let me tell a story. I'm going to tell a story, okay? So when I was at school for shadowing, I didn't know I was set up, but I was set up where my teacher goes, Dylan, just like go get this dog out of his kennel. And we had been getting dogs out and like training, so like I just don't think anything of it. But he was watching me. This was like, I want to see what you do. Because this dog, notoriously, when you go to get him out of his kennel, goes fucking ballistic. Not aggressive. He just starts playing like frantically for like and like for him it is a thrilling game to try to keep a person there at his kennel as long as possible. And he's a mal, so he's like a serpent. He's slithering and he's licking and he's fucking yeah. And then you think you get him and then he goes belly up and then he's little brother kicking you with his back. And it's like I'm there like on one knee getting him out, trying to put a leash on him. I'm there for probably like a minute and like the most excruciating minute. Like the time is just like sap falling down a tree, like just. And finally, like Ivan comes over. He's like, "All right, give me a leash." I was like, "Okay." And he tells him to down, and he puts the leash on him. He takes him out, and he's like, "So, what do you think just happened?" I was like, "He sucked me into his world," and he was like, "Yeah, he did it with like in 2 seconds." And I was like, "So that type of moment where you like the dog doesn't have to have bad intentions. They usually don't because we believe that dogs are good, right? We believe that dogs are good. Um, Sometimes they have problems, but dogs are inherently good beings. So that dog wasn't like personally thinking, "No, I run your life and I'm going to kill you." No, it's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. He
And I,
found an opening for a super fun game and he took it. It's like a kid.
but, but I still got dominated,
Yes. Yes.
right? I still got dominated. So
Yep.
I lost. Like I lost. I felt like I just got beaten by an animal in a contest, and I did, right? Um, that type of thing is humbling, perspective altering, but it's a good reminder that people can get destroyed and run over by totally good dogs
Yep. Yep. Well, this happens with puppies all the time.
all the time, dude.
All the time. Yep.
You work with puppies
Yep.
a lot. You see that shit.
Yep. Yep.
People just getting run over by like
Yep.
a golden
Well, because
retriever puppy.
like puppies.
Right.
Yeah, like it doesn't even have to be a crazy breed. Like literally, yeah, just a drivey lab puppy where it's like, okay, you're, this dog is like 4 months old and you're kind of in trouble.
You're getting your ass beat. You're getting your
Yeah.
fucking ass beat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that does not mean that the dog's gonna turn into a killer,
Correct.
but it
Correct.
does
Yeah.
it does mean you're
They're gonna
probably
be a
gonna have a
pest.
right. They're gonna be really fucking annoying around the house, and you're probably gonna have a hard time walking that dog on leash around conflicting motivators. Like the dog's gonna kick the shit out of you, right? So it's a tale of things to come, right? And in the moment, you're just getting destroyed. But it's important to know because there was I think maybe the most measured and surprisingly sane response I've ever given to a question before, was someone asking genuinely, just like, I like, there's a couple dogs at the shelter, and I just like don't know. Like the situation that they described was like, I'm getting the dog out of his kennel and he's biting the leash, and like we just get stuck there. Like I don't like I can't do anything. Um, and this is like a new dog trainer. This isn't like Thinking Canine, who's been training dogs for 30 years, has this happen and then kills the dogs for it. Um, so right. So I basically I painted the picture of this person that, I'm not there. I always like to give that disclaimer. There could be something going on that I don't for sure, but like it is likely that you're just outmatched. You're not ready for this. And you need to be able to know when, hey, like I just because this dog isn't a savage doesn't mean that he's not really fucking challenging. And right now I'm having a hard time. There's no like if Ivan hadn't stopped me, I would still be there right now.
Yeah.
And that was like a year ago. There's no
Yep.
there's you need to know, like, to be able to concede in your head. Like I was just getting beat. Like I was just getting destroyed. Um so I'm glad that my friend messaged me about this dog, because clearly, like, and she also is fantastic. Like we used to, again, she was like early on in the inception of my shelter uh career, however you'd call it. She's fantastic, but like but a dog that big, that's that pushy and that funny and goofy, will just run over, and it was actually funny. I was like, man, my first thought was, if I could have this dog cloned, right? And every time anyone ever wants to give an opinion about actual like dog training, right? And I don't mean like give an opinion like, I think this brand of treat is better. I mean people that are going out scolding others and harassing people. I wish I could send this dog to you and click record and just watch, because you're not going to be able to handle that dog. And he doesn't have any behavioral issues. But I wanted to ask you a question for your opinion on, because something occurred to me. It's like, okay, I'm going to go in, like, we know what's going to happen. Like that dog and I are going to be best friends, and this is just never going to be a problem. Um, unless there's something very weird or interesting, and I'll tell you guys. But it occurred to me that, say this was from across the country, and they reached out and they sent me those videos. I do not know what I would say.
Mm,
What do you
yeah.
say?
I would say
Like, get serious? Like, what the fuck does that mean?
no,
Because
no.
that's
Yeah, you
no, no.
can't. You can't. No, and like literally, this is the hardest thing to coach. Is that thing of like, hey, I'm not adding fuel to the fire and trying to correct the dog because they're gonna think it's playing, but also I can't feed into their bullshit. So that like very calm, like leash handling, just like good. And like it's almost hard to even label it training, right? Because it's literally just like I would handle a horse or a cow the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's yeah. But what I would say is play. So remove the variable of the person being nervous about the dog punching it in the stomach, grabbing its glove, because like it freaks people out that like
Yeah.
this dog that I don't know is putting teeth on me. Well, especially if it's dogs you don't know, but even like pet owners that feel really, really like they've been beat up by their dog and bullied by their dog enough that they're like, I feel completely out of control in this situation. So change the picture for them. Just put a tug toy in their hand and let the dog bite that. But then in the play, I would force the dog to take breaks.
Yeah.
Like not with obedience. But
Mm.
remember we were talking about with Remy, like this is kind of what I was talking about early on with Remy, where I was like, you would teach her to downshift in the play
Mhm.
without obedience. Or maybe it wasn't Remy, maybe it was a different dog. Anyway, regardless.
No, probably Remy. Probably Remy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it was like I want the dog to be able to be told to stop from a state of
Where do
a
you
high
got the
level of
toy? Like on the
play
floor or on a table or in your hand?
on the floor. And like the dog is going to want to. So, okay. So let's say
Mm.
to like concrete example, play, dog wins victory lap. And then I would bring it into my arms or next to me and just like block it from leaving with the leash. I'm not holding it there, but just like, hey, we're hanging out and chilling together, and start petting the dog. I might like I'm probably not even giving any cues at this point. If they want to just hold the toy calm, no problem. Like
Oh, okay. I
cradle
see.
bite sports style.
Hmm.
Like that's your pacifier because I know you're gonna struggle. And I'm
Yeah.
keeping the handler safe at that point. Like I'm giving you something that if the dog makes a mistake, it's gonna be safe. It's not gonna freak you out. You're gonna be fine. Um, so we get the handler's confidence up, like it's super important. And then bring the dog into a cradle. If he wants to hold it, no problem. If he drops it and starts to like shred it or play with the toy by
Mhm.
himself, I'll just pop him a little bit, like, hey, stop it. And just get him to bring his head up and start panting. And then when I get some relaxation, couple calm pets, wait like 10, 15 seconds, then okay, and right back to it, grab the toy, play again, and cycle through. And then
Hmm.
eventually I'm going to be all done and then calmly walk you away from the toy. But hopefully by that point, he's exhausted enough where I can create that picture pretty easily without getting the handler in a pickle.
This is very
Um,
it's interesting
yeah,
because it's very like sports coded with like the
yes,
sleeve being on the ground.
yes, it is.
Um,
But sport people don't oftentimes even asking the dog to take a break, they muddy it because they use obedience. Like
right.
they think they're decelerating the dog, but they're not. So it's like, this is
Oh,
something that yeah,
so okay,
like actually,
quick.
yeah, go
Let me
ahead.
just really fast because you're just making me so. One time, Ivan was telling a guy to just walk your dog over there a few feet, and he could not stop head up healing the dog. And Ivan was like, "No, I'm literally telling you, you're a dog owner on the sidewalk. Just walk the." And the guy like could not do it. You
No,
know.
I've literally had to teach people the lesson. Like, this is one of those really weird puzzle pieces that people just don't think about because you can manage and band-aid around it with obedience and it never causes
Hmm.
like a quote unquote real problem, but I can see the conflict.
Yeah.
So one of the actually there's a client I should do this with that I just thought of that I was like, oh, I was having her do another drill, but I'm gonna have her do this drill. Literally, toys on the ground. I give the dog leash pressure to come away from the toy, and I'm just like, hey, follow me. Um, and
Oh,
dogs can't
interesting.
do that.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like, hey, just come to me and then check in, actually
Hmm.
cede to my request, and then okay, and go get it. But they can't
Cool.
do that without putting the dog into a high arousal obedience behavior without
Yeah.
going and
Yeah. They can't
healing.
like informally be
Um,
like, "Buddy, come
correct.
here." Right.
Guidance.
Right.
Yes. If the dog starts to feel pressure or guidance, it's immediately spiked into frustration. And I'm
Right.
like, dude, if your dog can't accept collar pressure and guidance and think through that, like,
Yeah.
no way we're going to get anything more complex.
This is
You know what
making
I
so
mean?
much more
It's
sense
very
because there's
telling.
so many times, and I think like at some level I understood, but like there's so many times where I see Ivan coaching people and he's telling them like, no, like make a funny noise, like kind of coax him to like invite him. Don't
Yes.
command
Yes.
him,
Do not
invite him.
command him.
So
Yes. And
yeah, so
people
you're
do this
trying
with
to
barking too, where I'm like, hey, create frustration and like get the dodge, what we were talking about with Remy, right? And they'll have a bark cue for their dog, but it's not the barking I want. And they're like, oh, my dog's not barking. Revere. And I'm like, yo, stop
that's
cheating. You're cheating.
that's interesting because that's the exact opposite problem to like a lot of the pet people where it's like they cannot be militant and they need to. Like, no, I'm telling you to fucking tell him to get over here. And they're like, oh, well, I wish you'd come over here. It's like, no, no, dude, tell him to shut the fuck up and get over here. And then the like more hardwired, neurotic sort of like,
Correct.
I don't want to say robotic, but like systematic,
Yeah.
sporting people
Well,
are way more likely to be like, like
yes.
regimented. Yeah.
But what's really interesting about that, and probably what you're thinking back to with seeing Ivan coach, is the reason he picks on that, and the reason I'll pick on stuff like that is not because like your obedience looks beautiful, like your healing looks great, but your dog isn't. It's you're kind of sticking them in this one dimensional, this is the only emotional state we can be in this context. And
Yes.
then when I ask for you to tolerate some frustration and some stress, you realize that that's pretty fragile.
Right.
um and like you'll see issues start to crop up in other, so like vocalization is a big one where like the dog is
Hmm.
having some conflict because you made this you've created this transactional relationship where you agree that it's reciprocal for the most part. Like I will ask you to cooperate and then I will send you back to the toy or whatever. But there's not this real and submission is almost too strong of a word, but it's like, hey, I'm your coach telling you that this is the play we're going to make. And even though you don't agree, we're going to do it. And the
Yeah.
outcome will still be what you want, but you need to just let go of your own preference and trust me.
Hmm.
And that doesn't happen if we're just like, oh, I'm pulling you into this behavior where you're doing it because you believe you're going to get paid. And we've put aversive control on it too. Like oftentimes these people are using negative reinforcement to keep the dog there and et cetera, et cetera. But like there's this, and again, this is almost like so difficult to explain. And I know that people are kind of going to misunderstand me and be like, what the fuck? But just that little bit of like, hey, dude, I need you to come back in your brain and just operate in this place that's not about fulfilling your drive goal. It's about, hey, you need to detach, listen to me coaching you. Like you've stepped off the playing field onto the sidelines. We're having a discussion about the strategy we're going to use next. And then we go back into the game together. But
Well, this
being
is another
able to,
dimension of cooperation.
yes, yes,
Right.
yeah, it is. It is. And being able to bring that dog down to that state of decompression is a skill that has to be taught. And a lot of people miss that
And I think
and
that
miss it
makes sense
a long
that
time.
people have trouble, even though they know how to utilize punishment, they actually have a hard time interacting with
Correct.
dog, like getting the correct emotion in it. Where like
Correct.
the
They
dog
can't
is
cut
still like
arousal.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
The dog,
And so they
and
don't
like
effectively punish. Yep.
right, and the dogs over time learn to sort of physically look like they're being punished, but they're not mentally, like you're saying, detaching and going into a different state.
Nope.
Whereas
They're
for
like,
me, it
oh, you're
always
pulling me out a little bit, but like I'm sitting
right.
in the penalty box, like waiting for you to fucking open the door.
I'm
You know
like
what I mean? It's
lunging,
just
waiting to
not.
go. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
that to me, I'll be honest with you, it still sort of confuses me how people can't see it.
I know. I know.
It's like
I know.
the first
That's why
time
it's the hardest skill to teach. Yep.
I had punishment demonstrated and taught to me, I was like, of course the dog just surrendered. Of course he did. And like the first time I saw someone fail, I'm like, the dog is still like locked and loaded. He didn't. He still like doesn't. He doesn't care about anything you just did. And it's like, but you did the procedure, but you didn't. It's the surface. It's like, yeah, it's
Yes.
just
Yep. You made the
how do you
mechanical picture, but not the, I mean, it's the same as getting the dog out of the crate. It's like, yeah, you can throw the treats,
right,
but
right. What's
like
actually
you
happening in
tricked
the
him.
dog's
Yeah.
mind? Right, right.
Yeah. You got the picture, but not, you didn't actually change the next rep or the mental state of the dog. Yeah.
It is funny sometimes when like some of the most recent reactive like super fucking reactive dog reactive black German Shepherd that had come by for a couple weekends of lessons who they've done actually Kiara might be listening to this. But the last time we met up, um the dog had been doing so much better. And he had a little bit of a reaction that definitely was off limits now. Like we're raising expectations and all that. And I had her get on him and I watched her do it and she's like getting ready to reset and I'm like, hang on, go again. Because like I'm looking at his eyes and there was a little bit of like a mm, that didn't he just knows where this could go, but he like hasn't given up
He's
on the
still doing the
thought.
math. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's so subtle, but like when you see it, then she
Yeah.
was like,
Yes.
"Oh."
Yes.
Like,
But
okay.
again,
Yeah.
like, and like not even shitting on people, like saying like, I don't see how people can't see it. Like saying that because it's so fucking hard to teach people to see it. Cause it's
Right.
like,
Right.
it seems like this kind of either you see the guy behind the curtain or you don't. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to open the curtain sometimes for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And it's like, "Oh,
weird.
but in both of them he was laying down." It's like, "But
Correct. But his face, I know.
his
That's literally where I get
eyes,
so stuck. I'm like,
his
I sound like a
shoulders,
fucking
his
idiot right now, and it's so
yeah,
squishy and I hate it. But like I
yeah."
could just see by the expression on his face that he is not in the state that we want him to be.
Sometimes you get
And people are
lucky.
just like, yeah, sometimes people can see it. Sometimes people can see it.
And sometimes you get lucky where when a dog is not giving up, they fight back. And like that's where it can be kind of dangerous and it actually sucks because you have to keep going. But at least the dog is openly
It's
saying, "No,
obvious.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I disagree. I disagree. I disagree." And then when you finally get
Yes.
them to stop, there's like a quiet and a silence,
Yes.
and it's like, oh,
It's
like that
very
dog
black and white.
that dog
Yeah.
Max, like that dog Max, I converted into punishment for him not outing, and we like fucking had it out for like a minute. I'm like, no, and I'm popping his leash, and I'm like, and we're just in the middle of this field, just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until he finally just goes. Um, but it would be easy. It would be easy to fall for it if he heard no and he like goes into a down and like looks off to the side a
Right.
little bit. But
Which
it's
is
like a
what
wink,
most sport
wink.
dogs will do because
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, I have turned off pressure successfully before."
Right,
The
right, right,
obedience very, very
right.
ingrained. Yep, yep. So
Yeah,
it's a
that
tricky
can be
one.
tough.
Like
That can be tough.
and I almost the more it's funny because this is a little bit like I kind of wanted to talk about like myths in dog training as a topic point, and this is actually a good myth to potentially dive into a little bit more. The idea that you don't want to use pressure on young dogs until they know like what to expect, like how to do the behavior.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a grain of truth in that, like be fair to your dog, yada yada. But it gets to eh, this almost again, it's always like a bastardized version that ends up like that's where it's a problem. Like good advice gone too far. And what people end up interpreting that as is I'm not allowed to put aversive control on my puppy, period, until I have taught him all of the things
Well,
that he is supposed to do.
in
Yeah.
case you didn't know, Susan Garrett has been talking recently about how she trains puppies with leash pressure.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
you want to know why?
yeah.
Because it's likely one day this dog's going to go to a balanced trainer, and I need him to be prepared to deal with it. So I'm going to not get. We did the pregame talk, so I didn't have to do this. But she gets to benefit from the use of aversives, and then say I have to because of the bad guys. Like holy shit, dumb bitch. Anyways, no,
Yeah.
I know.
But like so then what I do like the deeper I get into seeing like now I've seen so many young dogs grow to adults and seen like trajectories of people falling into this trap where they're like, "Oh, I don't want to squash drive.
Yeah,
I don't want to make my dog sad. I don't want to, ruin my relationship with my puppy." And it's like, actually, now you're stuck in this reinforcement loop that you could have avoided by just showing your 4-month-old puppy punishment
right.
outside of all of this shit and just been like, "Hey, dude, you're chewing my hand a little too hard. Stop it." And we have that discussion and we're fucking done.
It all
Um,
it all
and you
comes
can then
back.
use that later because it's like
Right.
these dogs have never seen that concept before. And then you build this monster. That's awesome. Like it's amazing. Make your dog super strong and super tough, but then they've never been stopped before.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you've built this monster with no brake pedal and
Yeah.
now you have to slam on that brake pedal from 100 miles per hour
Yeah.
while trying to install it. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's ways
You're
around it. I'm being a little
surprised,
bit
and
hyperbolic,
then
but it's like you could have installed that when we were like driving around the yard in our go-karts. And it's
right,
like
right,
no big
right,
deal. And now you're
right.
on the Formula One racetrack without a brake pedal, and it's like, whoa, whoa, like
Yeah. Well, now
it's
now
unbalanced. Yeah.
Your Rottweiler is like 2.5 years old, and I don't know, he's like digging a hole in your backyard, and you grab him by his collar to stop him, and he turns around and goes after you, and it's like,
What the fuck?
where did that come
Yeah.
from, right?
Yep.
Maybe he's
Yep.
got rage virus. It's like, well,
Right, right. But it's the same
or
shit as like if you don't tell a kid no, and the first time he hears
right.
no is that he got rejected from college,
This is
you're
what
not being kinder to him.
it all comes back. It all comes back to God, all right, which is to say contingency. Ultimately, if you believe in a dog's ability to understand that they can distinguish, should we be clear, the dog can clearly distinguish what activated the aversive, right? How to escape it and how to avoid it entirely altogether in the future. If you
Wait,
trust in
how
that,
does that connect to dog? I mean to God.
contingency is God.
Oh, contingency. Okay, sorry, sorry.
It is the God
We're
concept of
having a
dog
religious
training.
yes, yes, I get it.
It is.
As
It
in
like
top tier,
we
yes.
all like I try to boil everything, like, I try to follow the thread. It's like, where do things go? Like, where does the origin of everything good come from in what I try to do? And it's like, it all comes back to the dog understanding why things are happening.
Yes, because that
Like
gives them
that.
a sense of agency. Yeah.
So should I be clear? And that's not to say that dogs also can't have brain flubs and take things the wrong way sometimes. Like they can happen. And obviously it's more likely than not we're the ones making the mistakes. But you can actually do things technically well and a dog will still just like take it the wrong way. But in combination with their inherent resilience and their ability to overcome, if they trust you and they don't just break because you fucking tapped an e-collar when you shouldn't have one time. Like that's, you legitimately have to torture them, like flagrantly torture them to break them like that. But anyways, the fear with the puppy or even like the young dog that's being playful and like I don't want to break you, it comes from a lack of confidence in one of two things. One, the trainer or the owner's ability to be as clear as they think the dog needs, or two, the dog can't possibly understand. So the dog, and this is again, it's baked into inherently in the force treat ideology. If your dog jumps on the couch and he's never supposed to be on the couch, if you swat him on the nose, he hates you forever. We just know that's not true. He knows it happened because he jumped on the couch.
Yep. Yep.
They're
We
not
are
as
literally
dumb as you want them to be.
hardwired. Yes, we're hardwired as dogs and humans and most mammals, yada yada. We're hardwired to look for cause and effect.
Right.
It's how we stay alive.
How we
Like
survive.
core, yes, like that is a core evolutionary
How many,
principle that's built into us.
how many, I don't even know, Cro Magnons do you think had to sit on a cactus?
Right.
It was like two guys.
Yeah.
And enough of their friends were watching and they were like, that is stupid
Yeah.
as fuck. I'm just not
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just over, dude. And that,
Yes.
like, and the guy that
And
sat on
even
the
we
cactus is
don't
like,
understand
definitely.
the complexity of the human brain, but there definitely are evolutionary things that are going on that we don't understand that allow us to like salience matter. So it's like, okay, the dog made the decision to jump on the couch and then got a consequence for that. Like our brains
Right.
are going to tie that to that decision that we made to attempt to change. And then there's a consequence, A or B,
Well,
is
it's like,
going to connect to that decision. Like that is simply, it's not going to connect to this not salient at all thing of a fly buzzing in the corner and now you're suddenly afraid of flies. Like that doesn't,
right,
like,
right,
it's crazy to me the assumptions that people make about the attentional systems in our brain, where it's like play out that logic and figure
right.
out how you stay alive.
Nothing would survive. Everything
Nothing
would
would
die.
survive.
And you can
Yes.
do it. You can do it with more. You can do it with more. More of these myths about like the so-called like 1.4 second causality link timing that you have to have, or the dog could never know. It's like, dude, if that were true, especially with animals that aren't as intelligent as dogs, they would be walking off of cliffs every second, like killing themselves. If every
Yeah.
1.4 seconds they cease to remember why their behavior caused certain
Yes.
reactions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yep. Yeah. They're
But yeah, I
able to
mean
chain causality. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like the meme going around right now about the first guys to test which berries were poisonous. It's like, well, Trevor died, just don't do that one. It's like it wasn't Trevor eats the berry, he dies, and then we go, oh, there was a strong breeze when that happened. Um that must have been the wind gods striking him down for stealing their. No, dude, like we just like, and that's like ancient, Um and I know like we're talking about different species and stuff, but still, it's the same logic. It's like, how could you possibly like oh my god, no, I'm not gonna get. There's certain people. There's a certain comment screenshot that shows up sometimes that's crazy about a certain very well respected trainer talking about a dog getting in trouble for jumping on the counter or something, and how that dog will be at risk of thinking it was a fly. She says that it was a fly that was buzzing by. Like, you can't actually think they're that stupid. Um.
Yeah. Insane.
Anyways,
Insane.
anyways, yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
That's a good one. It's like, no, dude, you can find an excuse with a young dog to be like, dude, you gotta stop.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Actually, another thing too that I, I I thought of this earlier in the discussion, but I wanted to mention it because I think it's another one. Um, like back to the whole
I am
being
still
able
here.
to
Keep talking, of
actually,
course.
yeah, no worries, no worries. Being able to actually go from showing the full spectrum of arousal within even a high drive training set, like even around toys, around high drive objects, being able to go, hey, we can notch you down to 20 miles per hour instead of 100 miles per
Hmm.
hour or whatever. I remember there was a particular dog I had for a couple months that was a rehome situation from a previous dog trainer. And I just like was kind of the in between. Um, and she had been taught like sporty behavior. So she knew like a focused heel, she knew a down, she knew a sit, but it was taught in sort of this, the dog was always in this sort of like slightly anxious. There was a little bit of unclarity. There was a little bit of muddiness in it. And I started to mess with that drill I was talking about before, where I'm like, hey, I'm going to have you out the toy, take a few steps back, and just ask you to come back to me with leash pressure, or like gentle guidance, whatever it is, right? Like I might even be just be like, hey, come here, puppy, whatever. But she immediately was like, the only option is to flip into heel or to sit in this, like you could tell that she wasn't able to be cognitive. And people get tricked by that because they're like, oh, she's doing the behavior, but I'm like, again, it's like, but look at her face, and that's really hard to get
Why?
across to people,
Yeah.
but I'm like, no, I hate this. um and like try to explain, like it gives me this visceral like ugh, now when I see that.
Right.
um
It's gross.
but it's
Yeah.
so common, like, it's so common. People can't, again, they just don't know what they're looking for, they don't know any better, but, like, especially with sports, or bite sports, we've fallen into this really, like, robotic, repetitive type of obedience where the dog is just kinda strung out, and then safety seeks into, behaviors, and then you release them to reward, so it's like, "Oh, it looks like we're using positive reinforcement, but in fact, you're being a little unclear and stressing
Desperate.
them out and
Yes.
yeah, yeah, it's
Right.
desperate." And literally spent a couple weeks being like, "Hey, I can actually just guide you into different casual behaviors." And, like, not even behaviors. I literally was just like, "Hey, can you follow me backwards while looking at my face?" And you could tell she was just like, "Oh my god, I'm panicking." Like, I had to
Yeah.
really
Where's
handle her
where's
kinda
my heel?
carefully. Yeah, and
Where's
I
my heel
like
with it?
trying to
Yeah.
convince her like, "No, you can actually have a different option. You're not gonna die if you're not in heel position." And it wasn't even like the training was, again, like, not even shitting on the person that had her before. The training was not bad. Like, it was normal, like, sort of entry level sport type work, but it was just like, I get like my little, like, in my head right now, everything is like that meme of like what radicalized you. And I'm like, that's the
Hmm.
type of thing where I'm just like, what radicalized you? Normal sport dog training. Because I'm just like, this is
Right.
so,
Yeah.
it's such a ick vibe, but
It
people are
is
like, "No, this is so cool," and I'm like, "Ah," like,
for me. For me,
"You're all in the
it circles
Matrix." I
back.
don't know. Anyway,
It circles back to me for how spoiled I am with what I get to see.
yes, yes,
Because when I do see sports, I really at the beginning I took it seriously for granted how natural the dogs look.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not normal.
They
Well, it's
they
not
look
typical. Yeah, it should
they
be normal.
look like they look like extremely elite pet dogs in their disposition, in their attitude and the way they react to their person. They and how they behave between exercises. They act like a pet dog hanging out playing. And then they're doing this crazy precise shit. But the attitude and the energy, and I always had a hard time. I'm like, like when I would see someone come in from the outside that was doing more of what you're saying, it felt like gross. Like I felt like something was wrong, but I couldn't identify what it is. It's like why the dog is not at peace, dude.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, there's
Like
this
there's
sense
something
of
motivating them
urgency
that's
that
not
never
good.
turns off. Like the dog
Right.
is in this perpetual state of conflict that isn't productive. Like I can create
Hmm.
productive conflicts by going like, hey, your competing reinforcer is over here and I'm asking you to do something, and that's creating some stress, and I'm having to work you through that and help you with that frustration tolerance and go, hey, how do you resolve this? You do B instead of A, whatever. But the dog knows how to turn that off. Like they can come out of that conflict by doing the thing that I'm asking them to do. But the dogs that are in this perpetual state of unclarity, they can never turn that stress off. So then you just get this conditioned emotional response to obedience where it's just like,
Right.
I'm stuck in this frantic, hectic, blah, and then their fucking lips are pulled back and the ears are pulled back, and it's like
It
people mistake that for drive, and I'm like,
right.
"Ah."
Well, it all
It's so
does
hard.
come back to like a lot of core concepts, like even cooperation. So like the dogs that I'm used to seeing, it looks like someone wandered out into the woods and made a partnership with a wild animal. Like a really like we're we're like the same. And like we do things together, right? Versus more like what I see from the outside where it's like
I've
I went into
manipulated
this
you into,
I
yeah,
went into this machine shop and I built this construction that's not fit for the world, and it's barely hanging on by nuts and bolts, and it's shaking and it's rattling, and like that's how stark the contrast is when I see that. It's just hard for me. I just don't know enough about the sport to necessarily be like, oh, you did that wrong in that way. I just know that dog
yeah,
does not
looks
does not ever
unhealthy.
relax. Like,
Yes,
yeah, like
yeah,
it
yeah,
looks unhealthy. Yeah,
yeah,
it looks mentally unhealthy. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and what's, again, not to go off on like sport bullshit, but it is unfortunate that it's not the norm to have this opinion. Like some of these things that like it shouldn't be a hot take, but it is a hot take. Like there are
Uh-huh.
definitely judges that can't see the difference between dog A and dog B, what we're talking about. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, that's the same. Which again, it does get really tricky because it's like people are going to be like, oh, why'd you take points for this dog and not that dog? The behavior is exactly the same. And it's like, well, like, it's not, but how can you possibly put an operational definition around some of this stuff and create like judged criteria? So like I get it, but it is unfortunate. Like this is the kind of stuff where I'm like, oh, there just needs to be kind of a cultural shift from like this very one-dimensional sort of Skinnerian, we're just manipulating the dog to push levers, um, to a more holistic approach where it's like we get back to ethology and get back to um, treating the animal like utilizing the entirety of the animal's emotional intelligence and
Right.
cognitive intelligence instead of just like this microscopic, hey, it's doing the thing and we're
Zeros
spitting
and
out.
ones, zeros and ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it's just, it's like it works, it's functional, it's whatever. I guess you get the titles, you get the job done, but I'm like, oh man, you guys are missing the point.
Right.
But anyway, that's my dog sport rant. Um,
That's an interesting. Well, I mean,
But yeah,
it's
so back
definitely.
to what started this is like the dog that is struggling to not perceive every single input as play.
Mhm.
The overlap with what I'm talking about is like a lot of these sport dogs, they perceive everything that the handler does as like crazy high arousal. And
A
the way to
cue,
break
a
that,
cue into something, a
yes,
cue
yeah,
into work. Right.
yep. And the way to break that is teaching the dog to relax. I mean, obviously, right? Like, duh, but starting that in play where you're like, hey, actually, I can show you a slightly different picture. Like, it's close enough that you're comfortable and secure in this moment.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, you have these like, these known variables to sort of hang on to. But then I'm changing this one thing where I'm like, hey, actually, I'm going to bring you into a cradle. And instead of you trying to fight me and reinitiate tug, I'm going to be like, actually, I'm just going to
Yeah.
block you from doing that and go, hey, we're just going to sit
Well,
here and kind of pant for 10 seconds and then we'll go back to it. But like, you need to actually notch down for a second. But
what's
starting
interesting
that
about that,
brief, yeah,
especially with the toy on the ground, um, and that type of thing, it's like wouldn't necessarily occur to me because I just don't have to do that.
right, right,
So it's
yeah,
very, it is very. ego driven in that way, or how do I put, like,
It's
narrow
your
minded,
heuristic.
like out of touch,
Heuristic.
out of touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's where I'm just like, so like I see a video of someone just getting bodied, and I'm like, have you ever considered not being bad?
Right.
But
Right. But
the thing
there's
the thing
yeah.
the thing that I've tried to put to words, like with the clips and like the thing when you've seen someone just getting run over by a strong dog, it's like the person getting destroyed is simultaneously being so fast, but they're having zero urgency. It's like they're spamming the A button where it's just like jab, 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 but it doesn't go anywhere other than to signal to the dog that we're dancing right now.
Yes. Yes.
There's never like a sense of, hey, when I move, it's with intent.
Correct. Yep.
So like if I go to raise the leash, it's because there's going to be a reaction that comes from that. And I I
Not
have a
just
hard time
flailing.
being right. Like stop like so it's like, well, stop moving as much, but that's not
It's not true.
necessarily true,
Hmm.
right? It's like, but then it's like, get serious with him, and it's like, what the fuck does that mean? And I'm like, so that like the toy on the floor does just break it down, because then we can have that little battle over the dog trying to get to the toy, and I demand, no, like, get
Yes.
him back to you, and
Yes.
now
But
get
now
him to
you're
look
not
at you
trying
a
to
little
pry
bit.
the dog off the leash so that you can use the leash. And now the dog's like,
Yeah,
sweet,
yeah.
this is even more
And
fun. And now,
the target is no longer in the person's hand, so they're not getting jumped on. Um, but it is it's just like we would walk in there and be like, all right. Like when I work with him, like, and I'll try to record all of it, because if he fucks me up, like I'll show it. It'll be funny.
yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Um, but like you can just negotiate that.
Yes. Like you or I stepping in and just take the leash and be like, hey, we're
Yeah.
done. Like, and it's
And it's
no
just
problem. It's over. But like, that's the tricky part is like, how the fuck do you tell someone to do that? Like, that's
right.
impossible.
Now with these types of dogs, and again, like, there's not behaviorally, there's nothing going on to my knowledge, but he would be considered to be like, he's being a bad dog and he's being a nuisance. He's being annoying, and this shit you can't do that. Um the thing that will be the thing that I value the most is that when I'm done with whatever training needs to be done with him, he will be 0.0% diminished.
Correct. Yep. He's just going to be
And
able to read
also,
the context of when we're on the football
right.
field and when we're in the classroom. Yeah.
And he will not try to thug me out anymore. That'll be gone.
Correct. Correct.
So
Yep.
like
You can't
the
ring the bell
authority,
for
the
recess.
authority,
Yep.
right, right. Like he will know I do not fuck with people, right? But also I don't have to feel bad about who I am. That is where the actual, like, that is where it's done. Um so it's not hard to imagine that, yeah, like someone just walks in and they're wearing their military boots and they've got their company van and shit, and they just like fuck the dog up, and it's like, look, he's not jumping and biting the leash anymore. It's like, okay, but like that actually could have been done by like a monkey.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like a,
And
a monkey can
yeah.
can smack a dog and tap a remote
Yeah.
and strangle a dog. Like,
Yeah.
that's not. Um, and now the dog won't look at you, and it's like, well, look, we saw. Okay, but then on the other side, you could also see someone just spamming sit watch drills with food. And it's like the dog learned that the food only comes when he's sitting, so he's not jumping anymore. It's like, okay, but when you stop paying attention to him, you're gonna get fucked up again.
Yep. He still thinks
Probably,
he's
probably worse.
yes.
Probably
Yeah,
worse
because
because
I
you're
have
conditioning
attention
him to
ears.
be a
Yeah.
tyrant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so of course, we're gonna play, and
Hmm. Hmm.
I have no doubt that dog will play. Like, I have no fucking
Oh
doubt.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to. I just kind of I have that really important phone call before, so I can't even look forward to this
Oh
dog.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But like I'm gonna have fun with him, and blow off steam, and just like fuck around. It is funny that a dog like him, like, he would be one person's peril And to us, that's like a treat. It's like,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
fun.
I think
You
that's
know
what
what
I
I mean?
like kind of talked about it last episode where I'm like, I wish, and I don't know exactly like what the solution is to this and et cetera, but like if I could wave a magic wand and just shift our culture to where we got back to the roots of why do we partner with dogs? Like what you're talking about was like, it looks like this sport person just like found this feral dog and we learned to cooperate together. Like, how do we get back to that?
Yeah.
Because everything has gotten just so convoluted.
Right.
Um, and the expectation, like truly, why do we care if dogs are jumping on us? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where I'm like,
Yeah, that's such a take. I love that. Well,
like why are some of
people
these
have
problems even a
attributed
problem? Like why do we feel
right.
the need to suppress a dog into being quote unquote obedient? And it's like, well, how about just teach them the context of when to do
Well,
this and not do this? But like it's the same thing of like both those approaches that you use as example of like one of bad balance training and one of the just like permissive not having a
general
dog
for
at all.
any force free trainer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the second one is actually
Yeah, go ahead.
the second one. So the first one is bad, objectively bad balance training. The second one is incredibly effective, good, positive only training,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is to say that it accomplishes nothing except makes
Yeah,
dogs worse. Keep going.
yeah. But yeah, like both those things, like that is what people think are the two options in dog training. And
Yeah.
it's like, how the fuck did we get here? That the only two
Right.
options are to either suppress the fuck out of the dog in this like authoritarian, militant way or permissive, where the dog is just continuing to run your life and now you're stuck managing it for like
Well,
how
I'll speak on the balanced on like the bad balance side. On the bad balance side, so like we talk like I mean,
and like I don't want to get too much into a rant, but it's just like
we know like I don't think it's a secret what I feel about like I think that force free ideologues generally are like actually bad actors. Like they all have like
because again,
mental
they
and
want to kill
personality
the good
disorders.
dogs. Like instead of
They're
just
insane. Yeah,
going, "Oh, I don't know
they're
how to handle
psychos.
this," it's like this
They
dog
are
is
psychos.
wrong. This dog is mentally ill for just
Right.
being a dog. And
Right.
like, how did we get
Now,
there?
I will say,
Like,
right. I will say on like the really enforcement heavy, assertive heavy balance side, I certainly do think that there is a personality type that must exist that for some reason gets some sort of validation
oh, there's
over
a huge amount of abuse of power and that, like
right.
making something else feel bad makes you feel good. Like that is the
Right.
archetype of the bad sport trainer.
So like
Yeah,
I meet a dog and I have to
have
show
to
you
suppress you. Yes,
that I win. Like the only thing I can think about is immediately fast tracking to how do I defeat you.
correct, correct. This
I think that certainly
adversarial
does
relationship,
right.
yeah, immediate
But
assumption of
I
like
will
dogs are trying
say
to one up you. They're bad. They're always naughty.
I will
Yeah,
say I am much more willing to give grace to balance trainers because I think that we as a population care way more about dogs and are way more functional and like
yeah. I get
want to get
frustrated with
better.
that type of balance trainer though, because that's the type of balance trainer that people look at that genuinely love their dogs and they're like,
Yeah.
wow, I do not want to do that. Tools suck.
But here
Like,
so check
yeah.
this out.
Anyway, go ahead.
Check this out. Check this out. Okay. So like for sure I think that there's a similarity where it's like if you're a big time guy doing that to dogs and you know these guys have access to alternate information but they're 30 years in and they can't double back on anything because they'd be blah 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 whatever. Like I think you're a pussy, right? I
Yeah,
think you're a
yeah.
coward.
And those are the
um
kinds of people that like I have in my head because they exist widely in
right.
the sport world,
now
unfortunately.
now now when you run into someone that maybe they do believe that like truly that if you let that dog jump on you regardless of context you're getting punked and all these types of things. um i I do think that comes from that innocent human response to the unknown where it's like I'm going to start coming up with explanations. So like if I truly don't know why this dog is blowing up on leash and I can't actually resolve it, I'm going to be scrambling to be like what explanation can I come up with? It's like, "Oh, well, when you sit on the couch he lays on your lap." I heard in a video one time that means the dog runs your life.
Right. Right.
So now it's like, because I can't figure out the leash thing, because you're likely not tapping into the dog, like fulfilling the dog outside of the problem. You don't know how to issue punishment. You don't know anything about the emotional state. You're not socializing the dog. You're not, like, all these types of things. That's like, where do I go from there? It's like, well, let's start looking at shit that, again, like you've said, is mythologically bad. Like, it's just known as being bad. And then we just start dumping all of that on the client. It's like, well, you let him do this, you let him do that, you let him do this, you let him do that. And it's
Right.
like,
And that's
well,
like, I just get super frustrated with that because it's perpetuating this weird fucking culture around dogs. Where it's
right,
like,
right.
what? Like, again, it's just this lack of I don't know, this lack of actual like three-dimensional emotional intelligence. And
Right.
yeah. Anyway, enough of that. But
No, I know. It's
I forgot how I got here.
well, I kept a cool hand the entire time filming with Breeze this morning, and then when I went to put him in this crate, he made me jump like twice. And though this will be a Patreon exclusive, shout out to Patreon. Should that footage have made it out into the ether, there are people that would have looked at me flinching and been like, "He's gonna remember that forever. You're dead." or or I was talking to the camera and my brain, whatever, and then and like that happened in front of me, and like it's not that deep, guys. Um, you're like you're just, how would I even put it? It's like, imagine imagine a distant, like, uncontacted remote tribe has an airplane land on their island, and they get obsessed with the word Delta painted on the side of it.
Yeah.
It's like, the D must make it fly, and the E must make it. It's like, you don't have any concept of the internal combustion engine. You don't have any concept of like engineering, and I don't either. But I'm just like making a comparison. So they just seek these surface details
Right. Because
where
that's
it's
the only
like,
thing that they can make sense. Yeah.
right. So it's like, dude,
Yeah.
I promise you, there's more going on than the color of the paint on
Yeah.
the fucking airplane.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But yeah, I think like TLDR is treating these dogs a little bit more as like, it's not just this input output machine, but looking at the emotional state. Can we teach you to explore your full spectrum of emotions? And then the interesting thing about like this particular topic is, how do you coach other people to do that? Because I think that's the stuff where like,
yeah,
once you get it, it's like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, board and train that dog is easy, fucking easy.
right.
Um,
Yeah. Oh my God, it would be paid
2
vacation.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in order to work with a dog like that in private lessons, or to coach other people to do it or whatever, the interesting, like, how do you frame problem solving that is like, okay, how do we make the person feel as if they can actually sort of win this argument, not in a shitty way, but like, how do we make the handler feel as if they're in control again? Because if they feel out of control, they're going to make really stupid decisions where they're adding fuel to the fire, and now they're fighting with the dog instead of just having that sort of like calm control,
Right.
where it's like, okay, I'm just handling this dog, and I'm making stuff happen because I'm saying and presenting that that's how it's going to be. And the dog just accepting that. So that, like, I think that's a very interesting one, because that's yeah, like I've made the mistake a couple times of trying to show people how to do these sort of like leash handling and again, I don't even know exactly how to state it, but like, even like holding the dog out away from you as they're like attacking it, like kind of just letting extinction happen. It's really
Yeah.
difficult to coach people through that. Like, they have a really hard, like you were saying before, of like, stop moving so much. And it's like, yeah, that's part of the problem, but also like, people don't understand how to just like hold leverage over a dog and just get them to be
Yeah.
still. And it's like, the way that I'm
Yeah.
touching their body is just so precise, and I don't realize it's that precise until I try to get someone else to do it, and I'm like, I thought that was going to be easy, and it was not.
Hmm.
Like, and it's not like,
Yeah.
it's happened enough times to me where I'm like, oh, okay, like I have to find a different angle, because this is just, yeah, the successive approximations are not fine sliced enough for people to be able to figure this out. So it's just an interesting like problem solving sort of scenario that does actually come up a lot. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good like framework for an exercise to do.
Yeah.
But I can try coaching people with that. I can even try doing it myself tomorrow. It's just I won't want to because again, like we wouldn't need to do that. It's just
Right.
like,
Right. No, I know. Yeah.
chill, like chill. Okay, and then we play. And it's just like, d- like just stop, like just like be better.
Yeah.
And the thing is though that like if I can get a good video of a full session, I'll post it. But there is going to be there's always some level of my demographic, my people will never be free. There's always this sort of like question mark of like, is it because you're like a guy and you're big? And of course, most persecuted demographic in the world, um, me. But like I'm telling you that there are trainers half my size
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm not small, but I'm
that
not outputting effort that would make you think that someone smaller than me
n-
couldn't do it, you know.
that's also an interesting point. I'm not using the
No,
physical
not at
force
all.
generation of a 6'1", 200-pound guy. I'm not. I could probably be doing this at 5 feet flat, like straight up, straight up. But again, because of who I am and how I was born, I'll always be looked at in a certain way. Uh, what else? Oh, okay. So I
Oh,
wanted to go over a quick,
yeah.
a Facebook comment popped up on my phone, and I was like, I need to read that because it's fun. It's not funny. It's really interesting, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion because I don't know how I would explain this. So I posted like a minute long video of Breeze this morning. Like I said, the clip from the longer video that's going up later. Um, but it's a rep. It's a rep where I recall him. He comes back to me, tail wagging. Um, I kneel down to untangle the leash from under his chest, and he like snaps at my hand, and then I go like, dude, what? And he kind of like looks away, and I go, Breeze, come here. And he comes back in, and then I go, you ready? And he looks at me like, and then okay, and then we run, right? So, and it's just on my Facebook. It's on my Instagram story too. But there's a comment, totally like not meant to be an offensive comment, just a suggestion, which I love. I love that, and I think people are afraid to do that because um people conflate like attacks with genuinely just giving an idea for some reason. But a comment was like, hey, just like I think that recall could have used like a food reinforcer. And I was like, my first thought, and I just was like, well, if I gave him food, he wouldn't have shown me the nip. And I would have drawn attention away from the release to go run together. You know? That's my first initial reaction is like, well, it would sort of like you were talking about masking problems with like that the food could very well put him into a different like appeasing headspace where I'm not touching on some of those bad feelings. And if he doesn't snap my hand, he doesn't get a chance to see that I'm still like we're still here. We're cool. It's okay. Like I got you, dude. It's okay. I get it. Like, hey, like I'd rather you didn't do that, but I'm not
Right.
that's
It's not a
not
big
like a
deal.
disqualifying
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Because up until now, that has been a really brutal deal for him, like crazy, like people running and screaming and bleeding and like it's like so. So it's just an innocent take, but if you follow the thread, it's like a bit of what you're talking about earlier, where it's just like an information input mathematics machine, where it's like dog did recall, dog get paycheck, like that type of thing, and it comes at the expense of having that genuine social. Like I'm figuring out who Dylan is right now. Like I kind of just threatened to beat this dude up, and he's still like trying to be friends with me. You can't.
Huge.
Yeah, I'm gonna start going off. I'm gonna start going off about thresholds again because like I didn't rant enough about this during our pregame. But like some of these people, it's not trust me, it is not just people giving their opinions. It's like really psychotic, like crazy
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Like
Um,
and again,
the gen,
there's the people who have just believed people because we should be able to believe people and taken this advice at face value. But because there's no nuance around these
right,
discussions, they get
right,
taken down this road where they have no idea that it's wrong and may never
yeah.
discover it, to be honest, because they may just never encounter
I
that
don't think
dog.
they
They're just a
will.
regular dog owner and it's fine, it's whatever.
Yeah,
But then you
right.
have the
But
people
these are
that are actually
trainers. These are
okay, okay,
trainers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
yeah.
if
These
they
no,
still only
these are
manufacture that
trainers.
dog,
These are
but
trainers. These are trainers that are not trying to have like a good discussion. Of course, they're not showing training. These are trainers that are literally trying to say that if you use safety gear and get bit by your dogs, you're a sloppy piece of shit that is
oh
triggering
yeah, no,
dogs and you're provoking dogs.
I
It's
was
like
getting to that as like, yeah, the difference is, yeah, like those are the people that are actually problematic, the people that are pouring the Kool-Aid is what I was
right,
getting at.
right, and and,
Yeah, go
and
ahead.
we have to engage them unfortunately in information warfare, which is again one of the reasons why I show dogs. But um, should I be one of them? Breeze will never have that moment. Do you think it would be hard for me to not get bit by that dog?
Easy.
Do you think it's within my like top 1 million things to avoid getting bitten by that dog? I want him to feel like he can show me everything and like I can find the problems and he can see where that goes now. And I do really, really think that there's something to that awareness and that understanding that like that guy could have gone off on me. And he just kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, "Do you want to go for a run?" How are you going to do that being a coward? You will never be able to do that. So, and again, I'm not talking about people that are genuinely just
Yeah, correct. That's why I wanted to make that
giving it
distinction.
giving a
Yeah.
different take. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They're not
Yes.
they're not just like giving their take. Like they're genuinely like trying to dissuade people from trying good methods.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And that's what really bothers me. It's like I don't want people to read that and be like, "Oh, that account has 50,000 followers," and they said if you ever get bit by a board and train, that was your fault and it's totally unnecessary. And it's like I really hope you just run into my videos instead.
Yeah.
Like I really like I'm serious about it. That really makes me sad. Um, but and like they know what they're doing. Like they know I'm right. So it's like they know. Yeah,
Just to go back to like the food for a second, like I think what's also interesting is um to kind of like let's kind of go down that thread of like could you have rewarded him with food? And this is kind of back to the thing of where people will kind of have this everything runs together in a training session and there's no like hey learning moment what like in scientific experiments you have like trial one, trial two, you know what I mean, like there's breaks and gaps and like a
yeah.
clear start and end, but potentially one continuous half an hour session or whatever it is, but like you're doing multiple like hey see what happened here, take a breath and then
I get
try
where
it
you're going.
again, take a
Yeah,
breath, try it again, right? Like it's not just this like blah of poop. um and with the food I think what's really interesting about that um because I do believe, and again we've had this discussion before, we can have it again, but I do believe you can use food effectively. So I would even argue that you could if you wanted to, and again like I don't think in this case there's a reason to, but you could have rewarded Breeze with food for that recall, taken a minute and been like hey buddy, and then reached
mhm,
for the leash and potentially still gotten that same reaction because you gave him a moment to actually think. But I think what happens
yeah.
with a lot of this food training where it makes people miss stuff is that they give the food and the second like as the dog is still eating or the second the dog takes it they reach for the leash and they remove the salience from you reaching for
I
the leash,
could
like it's the licky mat
scream.
while you're trimming their nails and it's like is this dog
I
actually
could.
even acknowledging go ahead, go ahead.
I hate what you're doing right now. I could scream because it of course is 100% true.
Right, right.
And we actually like I was
But
I
again, this
yeah,
is why like I almost don't like I like to pick these arguments and make these points because it isn't about this dichotomy of do you use this
Yeah.
particular tactic or not? It's about, are you
Right.
treating this dog like an animal with a complex brain and nervous
The brain.
system?
Yeah.
And are you acknowledging and respecting that? And that's all I fucking
So
care about.
you can even make that look differently. So you can take your example of like, you could just give the dog time between making sure that you're not using your excuse of I'm positively reinforcing a conditioned behavior to work around a threat, right? So like you can spot target reinforce something, allow the dog to process that information
Yes,
and then
that is
act
event
from there and
A.
have like this
Yes.
right.
And then we
A subtle
five
it's almost
seconds,
like a
event B.
subtle
Yeah.
it's like a subtle hands-off reset. You don't have to hit a button. It just like it's like now we are moving into for sure like 100%. That doesn't mean that I necessarily will do that, but like I'm sure I do. Like I'm sure I do without even like planning it out. Like now
Yes.
that I think
Well,
about it,
that's
I'm
what,
sure I do
again,
that all the
like
time.
back to the punishment, like why does it,
Yeah.
a lot of where people go wrong with thinking that they are stopping behavior is they're pulling the dog away, but not actually changing anything. Really, like
Breaking
they
it.
end up in
Yeah.
this
It's all
one
vomit.
continuous, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Vomit. Yeah.
yeah.
So when you went like this with the food and the leash, that's what it is. It becomes one and you can so you can do another one. You can do here's a big one, guys. It's possible to care about two things at once. Whoa! Like holy shit! I can't believe I have to say that to people. Okay, I don't want to go off on this. If I see another post, this is where I would have dropped an F slur before, but I'm trying to reform. If I see another one of the a post from these people that says, "Why do people care so much about what other people are doing with their dogs? Care about your own dogs." How can you not understand that it's possible for me to go out and train and also think it's bad to torture dogs? Shut your fucking mouth, dude. You can't possibly be that dumb. That's the dumbest. Maybe if you did like, and it's not directed at me. It's just like people say that as sort of like a dog trainer. And by the way, you only see balance trainers say this because force free trainers are obsessed with what we're doing and are trying to destroy it, while these people are trying to get you to keep your head down and not pay attention. Anyways, and they love dogs, but I don't care that my friends are doing all these horrible things to dogs because I care about my training. Let everyone do whatever. It is possible to care about two things simultaneously. The end. So, how this links to what you were saying, it is also possible within the same training outing that I can pick a rep and be like, I'm going to positively reinforce that one. And then maybe on the next one, hey, I see the leash is a little wrapped. I'm going to go for it now with no food. And just go for it. Just some variance. Like you can do that. It's totally fine. But yeah, like the idea that like I'm going to give him a treat and then I got the leash out. It's like, but you just
It gives you a
missed
false positive of the dog's true
everything.
behavior. Yep. Yep.
Right. You missed everything. That interaction where and it's on my Facebook. That interaction and then we just kind of he curls away like is he going to react? Like is something bad? And I'm just like, dude, why?
Yeah. That was awkward. Why'd you
Right.
do that?
I'm like,
That's it.
come here. Do you want to run?
Yep. Yep.
And then he runs and he ends up getting zoomies and we fucking run circles around my house and shit like that. You would you'd miss that, dude. You'd miss that. But I totally acknowledge that it's like part of my brand to be like anti-food.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Um, but I believe it. I'm not. It's not fake. I believe it. Like I hate using food, and I largely the way that it's like I disagree with basically how it's used everywhere.
Great. And I do
But even
too.
like general, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just that I am like extremely radical
Yes.
on it,
Yes.
like to a
And
point
the reason
where
I,
I'm
yeah, go ahead.
well, I just sort of the way that I've used food with Remy, and it's been extremely helpful to sort of like help take her mind to different places when in areas where she's like having a really hard time, like during the process. But not just in obedience. Like sometimes I'm just like giving her food, right? But I did start like again, like I taught the heel with food and like um still, when I tell her to heel and she gives me that look, I want to fucking blow my brains out. The attitude that food creates and the behavior that food creates,
Yeah.
I I don't want to see that, dude. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's totally pointless. Like, this is just personal preference, but
Well, and
like,
that's why I want to draw this distinction because I think we end up kind of like losing the forest for the trees where it's like I want to be very, very clear in that the point isn't about are you using food or are you not using food or are you using a release command versus a toy versus food versus whatever.
hey,
It's about the holistic idea of are you treating the I don't know how else to say it, but like are you treating the dog like a dog and as if he
yeah,
has autonomy and a complex nervous system and
right.
um an emotional life beyond like push button A, push button B, and
And I
hey,
would
the
include
surface level
that.
picture sort of looks the way I want it to and completely ignore it. Like that's the problem I have is yeah, you might have created this picture of the dog doing or not doing the thing you want it to or don't want it to do, but like that's not sustainable, real. Like
Right.
that's the difference, I guess. Or like
But what you're
yeah.
explaining though,
Yeah.
what you're explaining is interesting because it's part of the goal, but it's also part of how you get to the goal, or like
Yeah.
it's how you get to the goal.
Wait, sorry, what
Um,
before you go off on that point, the thing like I think why this is so important to me and I'm like stuck on this is it's the same exact saying of I keep referencing because it's just like such a good example of it. The dog who was jumping up and grabbing people in that very panicked
mhm,
state. We went, hey, we need to remove this particular facet of that behavior and fine slice it to that point, but you're allowed to jump
mhm,
during play or whatever. And like what I'm trying to get at is the issue is not use of food. I'm trying to
yeah,
abound and thin slice this idea of using food to create a false positive and think that we're making change and think that we're affecting the dog the way that we want to, but you're actually losing all of the stuff that actually matters. Like that's why I kind of am like I want to play devil's advocate on some of this stuff because I think people will believe you and say,
yeah.
"Hey, don't use food." And it's like, "Hang on, is that
Based
actually true?"
alert, based alert.
No,
So
can you see that that would cause the same exact problem that we're railing against now? Not
yeah,
like
yeah. Well,
forget
what it
food.
is,
It's but like people get this one-dimensional, this trainer said this is the way to do things. And it's like, no, that's not
yeah.
we can't
So
make statements like that. Like it's too
this
complex.
is
Yeah.
my take. My take on it is it would actually be a better dog training world if people were like food is gay.
No, and I totally agree with you. I
However,
totally agree with you.
however,
Yes.
it wouldn't be true.
Correct. Yeah.
It wouldn't actually be the closest truths that we can get done.
Correct. Correct. It would
Because
improve it
what
would
you said
again,
is
it
like
would improve the picture in that moment.
only because it would restrict people from a very easy
Correct.
way to treat
To
dogs
fuck
like
it
they're
up.
retarded. It
Yes.
doesn't actually, yes.
Yes.
It
Or doing
it
the same
actually
thing and
has
creating a
less,
false positive by going, "Hey, you can't use
right.
food." You're creating a false positive about people thinking
The
that they
only
can be a
thing
good
that
nuanced dog trainer, but it's like, "Oh, you still don't understand dog psychology in the way that you have to." Yeah, go ahead.
the only thing that I would hope, and I don't actually know if it's true. The only thing that I would hope is that if food just like was erased, right?
Mhm.
My hope and my dream would be that people would fill in that void with good things. But it wouldn't be the right thing. It would not be true. It would be a convenient hamstring, a convenient crippling that would like force people to not. It would people would be not making the mistake, but for the wrong reasons,
Correct. Correct. Yes. Yeah,
and
that's
it would
exactly
be
how to say it.
limiting something. It would be limiting something that can be very useful depending on what your goal is and what you're trying to do. I totally get that, and I want to mention too that like the food that I've done with Remy, it's worked. So it doesn't matter that I don't like it. It's almost like funny in a way. It's funny to me because it's making me like argue with myself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like
It's
something will
forcing you
happen
to
with
actually identify, again, get to this point of like,
what's
what
in there,
is,
what's in there,
yes, yes,
what's
yeah,
in there. So like I put her into her heel when she's squeaking, and then she's silent, and I'm like, fine, like I'm gonna try to do that next time without food, and then if it doesn't work, I'll go food. If it does work, I'll go back and try food again later with another dog and see if it works better than without food. And I'm always like fucking around like that. But personal bias aside, it's like I don't know enough about dog training to understand why exactly it's been so effective, but I just know it has been. Because just because I've certified through a school doesn't mean I can just fucking say everything that
right,
exists and
right,
explain every
right.
fucking thing.
And actually, sorry,
I'm just
I know
telling,
you like glossed over the
please.
Remy thing, but here's what's interesting too. Okay, like let's say, just to make it like super black and white, Remy knows that you have food and you put her into a heel and she goes from squeaking to stopping squeaking. She knew you had food in your hands. And then you go, all right, now she doesn't know I have food in my hands, or doesn't think that I have food in my hand. Rather, I put her into heel. She still is squeaking. And it's like, okay, you gave yourself a false positive with food. So then how do we address that? We go, all right, I might still use food as a reinforcement, but I've just uncovered that it is in fact bribery and not reinforcement. And so now potentially
So
we need to back up and do some other, either
that
vary
it's funny you
the
mentioned
yeah,
that.
go ahead.
It's funny you mentioned that because those moments where I'm like, it worked, the food worked, those moments happened when I wasn't using food. It's like, right. So I did it right. Like I did a good job. It's like someone said it like in some of these blow up comment sections. They were like, Dylan uses food better than food trainers. And I probably do. It's not hard to do if you do what you've been talking about where you treat the dog like they have a personality. The food is just another means to interact with the dog.
Right.
It's just not my favorite,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Which
that
is
doesn't
fine.
matter
Yeah.
because
We're allowed to have personal preferences.
we do not matter though. So it doesn't
Correct.
matter.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. But you can
So
state,
ultimately,
hey,
it's
this isn't
like,
your personal preference, but if that blocks you from using the most effective method for the dog in front of you, then like fuck yourself,
yeah, yeah. Then you're no. I don't want to. I don't want to. Then you're killing dogs because you won't tell them no.
Yes. Yes.
And then you're going on a cruise ship and hanging out with people and getting invited to the IACP, and no one asks you a single fucking critical
Yep.
question about the mountain of corpses that you've built your empire on. Except someone's lurking in the shadows. The hooded hunter is lurking in the shadows. He's watching. So yeah, the food thing, it's been funny because it just worked. I imagine it will require some level of maintenance, but not crazy. Like go out every once in a while. Like I'll tell the girl that's fostering her, shout out, she's gonna be watching this at some point. Like just sometimes bring out treats and like positively reinforce it every once in a while.
Yep.
And it is
But
the
that's
only
not the only
command that I've
thing
used food with.
holding it together. Like that, like,
Right.
yeah, you're not using food to band-aid her into the healing. It's like, no, we used
And by the
food as a
way,
way to teach. Yeah, go ahead.
well, so that was a brutal interruption, but I'm gonna keep going. Um, because you made me think about something because the way that you phrased it, you were like when you were talking about the failure state where you know you did a bad job, where she's looking at you when she knows that you have food and then isn't when you don't have food. I want to add another condition on here to when I realized, oh shit, this worked. She's not looking at me either. So I knew the food paid off when I didn't have the food on me. She wasn't appeasing me, and she also was going into the right mindset. That's when I was like, the food worked. Because anything else, anything less than that, and I would have been like, oh, it's a trick. This is deception. This is a conditioning trick. This is a classical conditioning trick. It's a gimmick and blah blah blah. Like I would have been going off and making excuses to not use food. But I had to be like, all right, like it worked. It worked. Um, and I'll continue. Yeah, like I'll continue experimenting with it for sure. Um,
Yeah.
this is so triggered.
Oh man.
I hate carrying food around.
I know. It's fine.
And then little like my clothes get gunky and messy
Yeah.
because I don't have like the cool pouches and shit. I don't have like the Power Rangers costumes
Yeah.
you guys have.
I go
Um,
through sweatshirts often enough that the yeah. I also just use kibble. Like
mm,
I'm super lazy when I do use food. I don't use it that much,
I
but
buy like I buy dog mommy treats and I buy
funny.
I've
Yeah.
actually really gotten into buying like sweaters and stuff for Remy and Scout. It's great. Like I've gotten
It's
like into it.
hilarious.
Like I really enjoy it.
Yeah. It's
Um,
adorable.
there was a that makes me think of a point you made like a long time ago about one of the things about my videos that's kind of underrated is that I use stupid fucking toys that dog owners would use. And it actually made I thought about that and I was like, you know, I actually could. I've been asked a lot to make a toys video. I easily could make a video just going over this is my arsenal. I could even go on a shopping trip and be like, because I get really autistic. Like, I'm looking for all the new toys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that looks funny. Look at that froggy with the squeaky eyes. Like, I go crazy. So I might make like a shopping toy haul and then talking about like the different toys and
Yeah.
stuff. I think that'd be
That'd
funny.
be
Because
fun.
again,
That'd be cute.
it's not like oh we're doing early stuff with like an IGP prospect. But it's
Right.
like no, like
That
this
doesn't
is
fucking
like
matter.
stupid
Yeah.
fucking shit. Here's a sheepy with red feet, and you know he's
Lamb
um
chop. Yeah.
yeah, lamb chop, yeah. Charlie's owner is on lamb chop number 9
Oh my god.
because that toy is so effective with that dog.
Yeah. It was so
Um,
sad. I really like the Chihuahua is fun because I can buy her the cute little plushies, but all of my
uh-huh.
shepherds are just like immediately disemboweled. I'm
Kill him.
like, you guys are no
You
fun.
really
I
can't.
can't do the cute
You
stuff.
can't. You can't do fun shit with them. Like
Yeah.
the toys. They just
No.
kill. They're not built for dogs like that.
No.
Like my lab is the same. Like she'll peel a tennis ball like an orange in 3 seconds, and like you can't do funny shit. I do wonder though, like it's like so obvious that even when you buy like a pet mommy tug toy, like this is made for tug, right? It says it on the description. It clearly has hand grips and like this is meant. It shows a dog in the picture playing tug. The level of tug that these people must be playing with their dogs to have these last longer than like 3 seconds.
No, for real. It's crazy.
It has to be the laziest shit in the world. Just
Yeah.
like just like like because like I grab shit like Remy's kind of a savage. Like she'll hang and shit just gets ripped in half. Like first session. You guys would be astonished how much money I spend on dog toys just trying to find
Sorry,
something that'll last. It's great. It's crazy. I buy dog toys constantly.
Yeah.
So was there anything? I actually think we got through the topics.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, like definitely we can if people have stuff like even like the food train or like any other like myths that you want to like piece apart. If you want to comment, if you have any ideas, or like the 1.4 second rule or whatever, and kind of digging into like, all right, what's the grain of truth in that, but where does it go too far? Like I really love those discussions. So if people have ideas
It could be
for
some
that, I'm
shit that
down.
I've said.
Yeah,
It could
for
be
sure.
something that I've
For
said
sure.
that you don't like. For
Yep.
real. Like
Yep.
seriously.
Yeah. No,
Like I
that'd be
seriously
awesome.
like that.
Yep. That's super fun.
Like you do that you do that to me with food and you think I'm not paying attention, but I know and I can see when it comes up, I can see you kind of like I'm gonna make him admit something like piece by piece, the slow walk up to being
Yes.
like,
Yep.
all right, fine.
Playing the long game.
It worked. It worked.
Yep.
This is a landmark. You could name the episode. Yeah, don't. Admissions on food or something like that.
Yeah, we already had that one.
It just it required me to come into contact with a really challenging dog that just objectively benefited from the use of food. Like that's just it is what it is. A dog that was like breaking me psychologically. I used food. She had a really good reaction. And I just followed it. It is what it is. And that's not to say that you should only use it with challenging. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, for sure.
yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Later.
Gang gang.